saw this meme a while back. It's just one of those like images or maybe like a screenshot of a tweet that was like, put through like a filter or some kind of
Deep
grainy
fried.
text. Yeah. And it basically said, and I'm paraphrasing because I don't have it in front of me, but it was along the lines of every day I personally prevent the reality in which I have a podcast from coming into being. Yeah, well, the three of us have decided to no longer actively prevent this reality from occurring. We were put in charge of it as sorcerers, and we held the barrier for as long as we could, but it broke. The
Mhm.
dam is open, and now we have this.
Yeah, I think, we just gave up, and so now there's Occult and Folklore podcasting brought to you by the With Cunning and Command crew.
It's live. Yeah, and actually, it all really started from the idea to record our like 3 a.m. Discord calls in which we workshop magic we're doing, materia we're gathering, research topics that we're delving into, like random cultural instantiations of folklore and sorcery and spirit flight and all manner of alchemy that we just spend our entire friendship just constantly chatting about and experimenting with. And then we were like, what if we record some of these?
Mhm. Plus,
Hmm
there won't be an archive of them anymore if migrating off of Discord soon, all moving in together
Yeah,
to get up to our funny business. And we figured if we're all in the same room, we might as well put a microphone in the room
that's
because
true. You are moving in soon. Salt and I
Mhm.
have already moved in. And I think this is a great chance really to show a bit more of our dynamic and friendship because really, we met. I mean, Salt and I had been dating for a little while when we made with Cunning and Command. And then we met through the blog. Like you emailed us about the Tube of Veneris, the little black book of Venus that I've been working as like my main grimoire of choice for some time. You had some questions. And you're going to start doing it soon because this
Mhm.
month, May 2023, is the only new moon available, essentially, for the entire year. So you're going to get started on Tube of Veneris, and we'll have, your explorations of that coming soon. And the rest was history. We just became extremely like close, forever best friends, the three of us. And it's come to the point that we're like, you know what? We are so precise and erudite and frankly like we really put a lot of heart and soul into our efforts in magic, like we really value that kind of even-handedness between research and going the extra mile to get the right material while also ultimately deferring to the will of spirits and what they request for substitutions and how they guide our hands and making what we do. And I'm really proud of us, and I'm just so humbled that we have such a broad readership now that we do. We get lots of emails and, not a lot of comments, but like lots and lots of emails, interested in what we're up to, when next products are coming, and, when we'll finally post more. And the reason we don't is because we're so, frankly, just perfectionist. We can only really share the little pieces that we are allowed to by our spirits, which is why so many of the posts initially started, as explorations of grimoires and PGM and, folk magic that we can actually share. In our case, it's quite intense and solitary witchcraft traditions, as well as lineages of traditions foreign to our cultures that we initiated in and are learning the languages and the approaches to, and those that we're in the process of initiating into. But one thing
Mhm.
that's always consistent is the three of us are always doing something. Like we have like weekly challenges. We do plenty of talismans and little things. We test each other's materia out that we send each other. Soon, like as you said, it will not be shipping anymore. But I think it, with Cunning and Command really arose as a way for me and Salt shortly after we started dating to just write about and explore some of what we can actually talk about out loud with the permission of our spirits, and then everyone loves a good couples blog and it just hit it off.
Yeah, I mean, it was, we kind of were just enjoying working together and experimenting and researching together. And then, well, over time, we introduced Key into this dynamic as well, which was one of the best decisions we ever made, eh?
Hell yeah.
And
He's super smart.
Oh,
He's incredibly good at scrying and seeing spirits. And the man does awesome vampire witchcraft, sorcerer with saints and devils, great alchemy,
oh.
huge background in chemistry and biology and genetics and STEM, and is also just incredibly polymathic in his scope with all that he does. So, it's just been awesome. And I love that we're doing more products now because they're selling out super fast. And I'm glad that we get to do more of them.
Mhm. Yeah. First of all, thank you guys so much. I will gush to you as soon as we're done recording about how much I appreciate that.
Oh.
But yeah, as this episode comes out, we'll have just completed the final swings of the Expedite Feast Day launch, about
Mhm.
2 weeks ago. Everything hopefully is shipped by that time.
Mhm.
We will indeed be adding more things to the site. Was really inspired by, Sfinga, your Favamancy readings that you've garnered such a reputation for accuracy and divinatory prowess through on the site, and Salt, your being the most prolific astrologer of the 21st century, but being kind of quiet about it.
He's gonna
Also being
protest now and
effortlessly
ask us to like cut that part, but it's true. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
We were talking with our good friend Sasha Ravich over, check her out, sasharavich.com, about different astro techniques. And she was just like, yeah, it's like literally incredible. This guy just hand calculates formulas and like does charts by hand. Like, solar fire is one thing, but like like he's out here with like whole books of hand drawn, hand calculated charts. And I asked him, why do you do that? And he was just like, what if the internet crashes? What if my computer doesn't work?
Mhm.
Absolute legend.
The man
I mean,
with the astrolabe in the yard, looking at the latitude and longitude of celestial bodies just to do it completely from scratch in a notebook.
Mhm.
I mean that's a work in progress, like that's a long-term goal. The a little bit of ways from going about the ephemeris for now, but maybe one day. Maybe
One
one
day.
day.
But that's one of the things that, I'm just excited to, now as we're shifting into more frequent posting, yes, but also further experiments, formularies, and making things, giving back to the beautiful community we've amassed, the amazing readers that we've connected with, the clients that we've had, the people who've worked with our talismans and our products and found them to, applicable to their own lives and to their own sorceries. We just want to, be able to actually connect with you guys more. All the people who are involved in, our community, to chat a bit more about our experiences with magic, explore the ways that we experiment with various rites and approaches, and also share research, investigative deep dives into folklore studies and cool topics. So really one of the major aims, of having a podcast now is to connect back with the people who love our work. Even though we don't post as frequently as we'd like, largely to that perfectionism, but also be able to do like fun research episodes, teach ourselves and you guys something new, and talk about what are some of the nitty gritties of our actual magical practices. What are some of the ways that we've troubleshooted difficulties in enchanting for things? What happens when a working goes wrong and how do we manage to make it work again? Some actual like in-person real life examples of times that we've managed to succeed thanks to sorcery and times that this hasn't happened, and how do we change those things. Issues surrounding scrying, issues surrounding perception of spirits, being able to divine more accurately, and also just fun things that we get up to. So really this is going to be lots of learning. It's not going to be an interview occult podcast, where there's lots of amazing good ones out there for everyone to listen to. We're going to bring on some guests occasionally, but really I think that our goal is less to interview them and more to bring them on as an expert to talk about another topic. So expect plenty of good folkloric, deep dives, as well as explorations of particular sorcerous technologies, and obviously actual results that we've managed to confirm that certain things work, certain things don't. How do we make them work? So I'm really looking forward to it, and who better to do it with than the two close people in my life. And with that, hi. All rambling aside, I'm Sfinga.
I'm so
And I am B Key.
Nice to put some voices to pseudonyms. These, I was joking earlier, like I bet Salt wakes up every day thinking like, why didn't we go with Salt, Sulfur, and Mercury? Like, I mean, granted, we started it right, it was just me and him, right? So it was like us as like a couple blogging, but it's still, I mean, we were actually thinking even then, what if like I choose Sulfur? But Sfinga is my nom de plume. It's a pseudonym that I use. I've presented in many occult spaces under different names. And this is just the one that I feel comfortable blogging under, And so I'm really excited to proceed there. Also Salt's had his fair share of pseudonyms, and names that he's used in different publications and different things, likewise for me. But you've always been B-Key, and what does the B stand for?
So to go to our alchemical triad of sulfur, salt, and mercury, the B is a ever mercurial, hidden, shifting thing that reflects the people who look at it inside of it. The Chumbly-esque poetry aside,
Oh, we're not on Chumbley's here yet. We got to go more purple.
More.
More.
The alchemical, fluid, metallic filter of reflecting mirrors and numinous, maddening vapor. Anyway.
Yeah, and then Austin Spare comes in and just rolls to the page, spreading all the ink everywhere. Yeah.
You can tell I've read a lot of Chumbley.
No, I can also. I think I met you when you were deep in the Chumbley phase.
I was, yeah. I worked a lot of Chumbley's materials back in my day. When
I was young, when I wasn't in my mid-20s.
Yeah, right. When I joke as if I'm not 24.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, so the B in B-Key is a mystery that there is an actual answer to, and has a very funny origin story, but in this podcast that will remain hidden and ever
occulted. Yeah.
Literally
occulted, but we will change it every episode. So we'll find a way. We'll go through the whole dictionary. We'll find a way to make it work.
Oh yeah.
And feel free to send emails in guessing the original and the true meaning. You won't get it.
I would actually love that correspondence.
Absolutely. I speaking of reaching out, I can't say enough how grateful I am to everyone who sends us emails, who responds to posts, asks us about materia, asks us about, how to better work with one of the talismans that they bought from us, who is, asking us for suggestions for future posts. Like, I know, like I said, we don't post as much as we'd like because we're perfectionists and we have like 40 drafts at any time of things that almost make it to final pass, and then a spirit vetoes it, or we decide, wait, actually that's a little too close to home, or you know what, I don't know if this this was a pretty intense result, I'm not sure if we should even share this happen publicly. But I'm so thankful to everyone who stuck by us and who helped everything sell out so quickly, who's been telling us about how they've been benefiting from what we've been putting out, as well as who's gotten inspired to work the Tube of Veneris, because of my explorations of it, who's been inspired to try a PGM that they never thought they would do before, or who, got interested in a field of alchemy or a field of astrology that, is they weren't otherwise considering. We will be posting more, absolutely, but in the interim, we have a podcast, and it is called The Frightful Howls You May Hear. I am in love with this title. Originally, we're thinking, it could be like the Cunning, with Cunning and Command podcast, because like the whole motif of with Cunning and Command was like authoritative, ritual power via knowledge, and then via just power. Is knowledge power, or is power power? And it's like, for the witch, the answer is very much power is power. And so we wanted to talk about, folk magic versus witchcraft, learned, sort of like scholastic sorcery, from liturgical traditions as well as from literary sources, versus kind of like folk applications of herbalism, botany, and all these other things. Astrology being a great example of learned magic versus, various oral charms, being a good example of folk magic. So that motif is still with us, but we wanted to give it a different title and just kind of diversify a little bit. And it was actually after many attempts to figure out a good one. It was including some really funny bonus ones. I was trying to get it to be called Live Laugh Left Hand Path for a little while, but and also like an excellent podcast on the art of magic, or like Akashic Vinyl Records, dumb stuff like this. Like, it wasn't even clever. It was just puns based on like, the the fourth podcast of occult philosophy. But no, it was Key. That was kind of nice. It was Key who brought us back though to the Grand Grimoire. and picked this awesome name.
Yeah, so the Frightful Howls you may hear is excerpted in a very slightly modified form from one of the conjurations in the Grand Grimoire that goes something along the lines of: before uttering the third conjuration, should the spirit refuse to comply, read what follows in the clavicle, and smite all the spirits by plunging both the forked extremities of your rod into the flames. Be not alarmed in so doing at the frightful howls which you may hear, for at this extreme moment all spirits will manifest. Not quite sure what that grimoirist, or to use the beautiful term karcist, was up to.
I like that you said it goes like something along the lines of this, and then you quote it not only perfectly, but you do like a weird mid-Atlantic radio voice.
Oh yeah,
Take that, Grand Grimoire.
Yeah, right. We're doing this in the new world as it is much practiced and much want to be.
No, it's great, and I just loved it. I love that it's like, be careful, Karcist, because the spirits will show up, so you better be strapped. But yeah,
and not just the one you're conjuring either. It's
every
all spirit in the AoE. Yeah, it's like
this
guy's putting his stang in the fire. It's like the great rite, but 2 knives in 1 cup. Oh my god.
That the forked extremities of your rod. Yeah, we love a stang. We all love a stang. I love a forked stick. I see one on the road and I'm like, and then Salt's like, baby, no. You have 17.
I mean, I guess we can get an extra shed to hold them all, but
God, and we only have so much real estate. And spirits are rapidly claiming each and every little corner, like it's a paradox game. Just going in there, like, I'll be annexing this. Thank you very much. Yeah, but I love the title. So, and we decided to go with just Frightful Howls you may hear. One extra word. Thank you. If the original is witch, but we'll start every episode with that. And we'll have, some kind of exposition on a cool topic. The first episode coming up next, released at the same time today on Walpurgisnacht, on which we are airing this live, is going to be on Toadman and Jading and the Horseman's Word Society. And then coming up soon, it will be all about exorcisms in the late antiquity. A very funny possible occultist and English gentleman who got up to some very funny business. And was friends with Crowley and many other people. And apparently you could play 6 degrees with him, and we will many times. And shortly after, we'll get into some cool shapeshifters. So expect plenty of topics like that coming forward, as well as, more personal deep dives into how we scry, how we learn to see spirits, how we learn to conjure them, and, tips and tricks of many a time that we have utterly, fallen flat on our faces and picked up again. So I think it'll be fun. I hope you'll enjoy it with us. If you really like what we're doing, and if you feel like this is, being a benefit to you, check out our Patreon at patreon.com/The Frightful Howls. We just have 1 tier. If you subscribe, you'll get access to our show notes. So this includes citations, quotations, page numbers, those kinds of things, for what you might want to learn further, as well as like other links, posts and such, reflections and things, that kind of stuff. And then exclusive Q&A episodes, so this will be every month. You can ask us any questions that you like. Obviously, we can veto them ourselves, but ultimately it's a matter of, whether it's technical, whether it's, sorcerous, whether it's like deep diving into another research topic, we'd be delighted to hear from you. And then, of course, the ability to suggest topics, including for future episodes. And of course, you'll also get your monthly Astro Almanac from Salt. What is this exactly? Actually, I've been watching you make this beautiful like page layout for it. But what exactly are you planning with this, Salt?
Yeah, so the almanac is mostly focused on natural astrology. If you know the distinction between natural astrology and judicial astrology, then you kind of have an idea of it there. But essentially, think elections that are not too precise, not too time based, but like for entire days based on the configurations of the stars for larger tasks like gardening, for example, or maybe you've got to take some medicine, surgeries, that kind of thing. That would kind of be the main focus of the almanac, as well as some extra details along the way.
So cool. I'm still looking forward to this.
Mhm.
Honestly, like I'm gonna benefit from this greatly because I'm interested in seeing, what a monthly Astro Almanac could do for me. It's not something I've actually consulted much, given that my witchcraft and my folk magic is so not based in astrology. It's based in stars, and constellations and fixed stars especially, but not like astrology proper.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, down the line as well, one of the things we'll probably include is a saint calendar, naturally Anglican.
No, Orthodox.
And so the schism begins.
Vaguely Catholic, so I'll throw my hat in the
Oh God,
ring.
yeah, it's true. We have all three. You're vaguely Catholic.
Yeah, the detail there is one side of the family is Catholic, one side of the family is Southern Baptist. So those Thanksgiving dinners for you Americans out there are very fun.
You're like, let me out. and then yeah, you're Anglican, as you can tell. Everyone can tell probably by your lovely accent. Mine, which hath vanished, like poof into the air, when I immigrated. Still Orthodox though, still good old Serbian Orthodox. And Serbo-Croatian is my mother tongue, so the accent does return. When I get heated. So maybe some of you will get treated to that at some point. But we'll see. And yeah, so there we have it. We have a little schism going on, but it's okay because we all know that Orthodox monks look the coolest. The Skyrim wizard robes. I'm sorry, I want a hoodie with the schema print on it.
Okay. You know what? We can give you that. I'll just focus on arguing the Catholics for now.
we can go back
affectionately
and, brawl a little bit about high Anglicanism being cool, which we will get into in the future episode.
Oh, I'm hyped for that one. I'm hyped for that.
But yeah,
Listen, sorry, go on.
Oh no, I was just gonna tout your Astro Almanac as being one of the coolest things in the business because being pretty versed in American folk magic of various strains like conjure, hoodoo, stuff like that. I think about this quote from Professor Porterfield, which shout out to him, cool guy. The magician in that sense only needs 4 things, if not fewer, which is a knife, a book of matches, the Bible, and an almanac. So you're filling in one part of that tetrad.
Very true. Shout out to Professor Porterfield. We love him. Hi, absolutely. And then of course we're having also our spell or herb of the month, like a folk charm serial. A little bit of a, exposition on something like that, which hopefully will also occasionally line up with some of the planting cycles, in the spring months from Salt. So that's what you get if you're interested in our Patreon. That's patreon.com/the Frightful Howls you may hear. All the links will be available in the description. And with that said, we're just gonna go right into it. So next episode is all about toadmen, horse jading, and all that good toadbone right magic, as well as the Society of the Horseman's Word. So if that sounds like a good time to you, that you can hop on over to our next episode. And before we leave you, we're gonna do 2 little recurring things. I mean, I'm sure they'll build over time. We'll have like a bunch of gags eventually, but we'll always have a recommended song because I still want to be able to call them Akashic Records. So we'll do some song, like a song that we listen to while we research an episode, and we'll also have a license to depart. And I feel like Mr. Mid-Atlantic, you should be the one reading them all the time. So hit us with an exorcism, hit us with a license to
yes.
a dismissal, if you will, so that we can head on over to the next episode.
That I will. So today's dismissal comes to you directly from the Grand Grimoire that lends its conjuration to the name of our podcast, which goes a little something like this. I'm content with you for the present. I leave you in rest and allow you to withdraw you wherever seems good to you, without making any noise nor leaving any bad smell. Also be mindful to abide by the terms of our pact, because if you neglect it for 1 instant, you can be sure that I will eternally torment you with the great and powerful words of the clavicle of the great King Solomon, by which he forced all rebellious spirits to obey.